All right, everyone, we start off today talking about the second presidential debate, which appears to possibly not be a happening thing at this point. The cat's flipping over and flipping out over here, doing kitty noises. I wish you could see. She looks just like a teddy bear when she does that. But anyway, I fully support Trump's decision to nix the idea of a digital-only debate structure. Because it doesn't make any sense. The idea that because Trump had coronavirus, which his doctor is saying he can do public engagement starting Saturday, he's not symptomatic, he's fine, a lingering cough, which he had on Hannity, is not indicative of a larger problem. He'll probably test negative before the next debate. The idea that the debate commission should be able to change the rules after the fact, when the candidates have already agreed to 3 in-person interviews with certain formats and certain content. They tried to get Trump to agree to change the rules in order to allow the moderator to have like a button to shut the microphone off. And Trump's like, what the fuck? Now they're trying to switch to a digital-only format, which I predicted, need I remind you. This comes at the behest of the Biden camp. They want Biden to be able to sit in his office uninhibited, with his fuzzy bunny slippers on, probably not wearing pants, so you only see the person from the waist up anyway. Probably wearing no pants, getting sucked off at the time, with a teleprompter and notes and an earpiece. His campaign wouldn't even allow the candidates to be checked for wires before the first debate. Why do you think that was? Well, he was wearing a wire. Unfortunately, some people were saying there was something up his sleeve and that was cheating. That was a pen. By the way, many times politicians, they'll have a pen clasped under here because it's easy. You take it out, you sign something, you write notes down. It's easier than having it in a pocket. You can get it, down below the camera shot so as not to distract anyone. Simple optics. But he was wearing a wire. It's already been exposed. Do you think there would be cheating in a digital-only debate format? I do. And Trump would probably cheat too. Hell, if there's nobody that's checking up on your setup, why wouldn't you have notes? Why wouldn't you have staffers and a teleprompter? Why wouldn't you have, at the very least, at a bare minimum, why wouldn't you have people that you like out there that you can sort of pretend that you're talking to, people that will nod their heads and give you thumbs ups and so forth? At a bare minimum, why should President Trump agree to a change in the debate format? He agreed to 3 in-person debates with Joe Biden. Joe Biden agreed to 3 in-person debates with Donald Trump. This was agreed to knowing that there was always the possibility that coronavirus would infect someone adjacent to the debates. So a moderator, a candidate, somebody that works with them. The idea that we need to overhaul literally every aspect of political and civic society because some people have a cold, which is primarily what COVID is for the vast majority of the population, is ludicrous. The idea that the debate commission should be able to retroactively change the rules pre-agreed upon by both campaigns is also ludicrous. And I don't blame Trump for saying, look, there's going to be an in-person debate or it's not going to be a debate at all. I don't blame him for that at all. I think that it hurts his campaign. I think that's the whole point. I think that the fix is in. I think the debate commission is obviously on the side of Biden too. It's the entire lame establishment. It's one hand washes the other. Silicon Valley, big corporate media sites, the lame stream of politics, including most Republicans, the Bush people, every single one of them is working for the Biden camp. You think these people, for years and years, I struggled to tell people, back when I was maybe in the Ron Paul revolution time, I was like, look, the 2 parties are joined at the hip. They're basically telling you the same thing. Why can't you see that these people they pretend to be all fiery towards each other when they're talking in Congress, when they're being recorded by C-SPAN. At the end of the day, when they're off the job, they go to the same bars, they go to the same clubs, they're snorting coke off the same hookers' tits, and they party together. They don't hate each other. They love it because they all make huge amounts of money by pretending to be adversarial. Is this not a stunning admission of this same system? When you have people who supposedly a generation ago, or even less than that, were extreme far right, the Bush family, the Cheneys, the McCains of the world, and people who supposedly are a step from communism, like a Nancy Pelosi, don't you find it a little bit odd that every single one of these people, for the most part, is thrown in with Joe Biden, is working for him, or with him in some manner, is a campaign proxy, is a donor, or is adjacent to one of these things? They're all part of the same corrupt wriggling larva, basically gnawing away at the fabric of our nation. I will definitely be voting for Trump, in part because of this stunning and transparent admission, basically, by what you can loosely call the deep state, but is really just the establishment writ large, of complicity in this corruption, globalistic corruption that goes way beyond national borders. So when Trump refuses a digital-only format that can only not help but be abused, possibly by both candidates, absolutely, I totally agree with that. He didn't agree to a digital debate. He agreed to appear on stage with Joe Biden and debate him 3 times. If he's going to be denied that, why should he agree to a last-minute change not even a week before the next debate, I think? When is the next debate scheduled? It probably won't happen now. But it's not Trump's fault. It was funny the other day, the leftists were like, oh, ha, ha, coward Trump doesn't want a debate. He does. He wants an in-person debate. The idea that Joe Biden, standing 20 feet away from him, probably behind a plexiglass shield, is at any risk whatsoever of contracting coronavirus is totally stupid. You have to be a moron to believe it. Under every guideline issued by the WHO, the CDC, the FDA, literally every medical establishment in the world, that kind of behavior is not risky. There is a 0% chance of Joe Biden getting coronavirus. What, are you worried he'll get coronavirus and die? You know, that'd be interesting. It would be very interesting if Biden wins, but he gets coronavirus and dies in the first couple weeks of office. And it could happen, considering he's had several aneurysms, he's, pushing 78 years old, and then you get President Kamala. By the way, that would cause so much social unrest in the nation. I don't think that the nation would quickly recover from that. It'd take years and years to get through it. It could cause all sorts of problems. I think that everyone should be voting for Trump. Considering, you look at the situation for what it really is. The entire establishment, from stem to stern, all the people that have caused every war that you've ever opposed, if hopefully you've opposed them, all of the scandals, all of the corruption, all of the mistakes, it has all been done by people who are around Joe Biden. For the most part, with the exception of a handful of Republican partisans like Mitch McConnell or Lindsey Graham, useful idiots who probably wish that they were on the other side of the aisle right now too, considering their own proclivities. Yeah, absolutely, Trump is the anti-establishment candidate, and it's funny because for the first time that's also the incumbent. This makes no sense whatsoever. Why would I, as Donald Trump, agree to a debate format that explicitly helps my opponent, number one, but which I never pre-agreed upon to begin with, number two? I agreed to an in-person debate, not sitting behind a computer on a Zoom call. Yeah, and can you imagine, considering the finesse of the political establishment with regards to tech, if you have a digital-only debate, chances are there'll be all sorts of glitches anyway. Dropped calls and audio problems and glitchy video feed and all that sort of thing. We've seen this with Joe Biden many, many times. Do you honestly believe that Joe Biden's staff are capable of setting up the call and not fucking up? It might not. Trump should show up anyway. Here's what Trump should do. He should agree to it and hope that the Biden camp, that their staffers are the ones setting up the equipment. Because then it'll just be Trump for an hour and a half uninhibited without Biden being able to say a word in edgewise because Biden will be disconnected in the first few seconds. You saw that at the first event with Kamala Harris, didn't they? Were having tech issues. Didn't a light go out and they were in the dark and shit, and all sorts of weird stuff has happened with his Zoom call sort of bullshit campaigning. Also, by the way, the polls are completely wrong at this point. They're totally divorced from reality. If you think that Biden is actually skyrocketing in the polls without actually campaigning, without actually having a message, with a recovering economy, no, I think that there's some shenanigans going on. Personally, I think the polls are being cooked big time by most firms in order to get people used to the fact that at the last minute, after a Trump landslide on election night, which you'll probably see, all of the mail-in ballots are like 99% for Joe Biden. Yeah, most of them are post-election postmarked, but yeah, we've got to accept them anyway. Joe Biden wins weeks later. I'm thinking that there's going to be pretty transparent rigging. It'll be sort of like Epstein, now won't it? That's about all. Peace out.